Hello, EKN Nation. We're back at it again for another edition of the EKN Debrief, episode number 165. It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. David Cole here to file his audio report of the event out at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona, the opening rounds of the 2026 RMC America's Trophy. My name is Rob Howden, ready to dive into this one here to cap off our trackside coverage. And again, right from here, straight back to Tucson for the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour opener, the Winter Nationals. But work to be done here to cap off the action from the America's Trophy. Today's show presented by Parolin USA. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products. The brand is rich in history and success, dating back to the early 1990s throughout Europe. Today, Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. Carters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website, where the entire chassis line and parts lineup are available to you, with shipping available across North America within 48 hours. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. All right, David Cole, you were trackside out there for a very warm weekend in Tucson, Arizona. The date of the event, March 20th to the 22nd, last Friday to Sunday, for the 2026 opener of the RMC America's Trophy. New program there, and some great racing from what I see.
It was, we talked about that in our our outlap that the Musselman Honda Circuit puts on a great platform for racing, and it cashed in. There was questions throughout the paddock. Again, a lot of people are new to this facility that are from the East Coast and other places. And again, people new to the sport who have never been there. So it was kind of a let's watch and see kind of mentality. But it put on a great 2 days of racing. That's for sure. Obviously, practice days are boring for us, watching everybody try and go fast. But
right.
But once racing got underway, it was action packed all weekend.
Yeah, and again, the track it's different than some of the tracks on the East Coast. You got to really open up all the entries, because if you low line, you're going to get over-undered like crazy. It's a fast racetrack. Only one really big, long straightaway where you could draft, but otherwise, again, we've been there many times. Great racing for sure. David, round number 1 and 2 for the road tax component of the RMC America's Trophy, the 4-round championship, best of 3 for that one, and round 1 for the FZ categories, the 125 and the 85. They ran just a one main event throughout the way the weekend kind of played out. But the inaugural event for the RMC America's Trophy, a new program for road tax here in the U.S., and it looks to me like it got off to a good start.
It did. That was the hope going in. Again, it's something brand new. They have not done this before. Road tax has typically been kind of one-off events, and that's pretty much been the focus since back in 2000, 2001, when it really began here in the United States. They've tried to do a couple regional programs here and there. They had even Royce Road Tax put on the West Trophy and the East Trophy. And so now doing this America's Trophy, it entices people to be part of it because it's prior to the upcoming SuperKarts USA Winter Nationals. So it entices people to be there. Brings the Canadians down. That was a big part of our numbers. A lot of Canadians coming down seeking tickets in the 3 categories that it was offered. So, road tax is still pretty viable up there. And so that's, you combine those two factors and the hopefully resurgence of road tax racing here in the US, which is what they've been focused on for the last 5 years. That's the goal of this whole program.
Yeah, indeed. And listen, road tax has been strong here in the U.S. before, but we all know that globally, the grand final is still one of the biggest draws of any series, a major event in the sport. David, let's kind of cap off the segment here. We'll jump into the buy the numbers in a couple seconds, but I know you used a play on words saying that the road tax was coming in hot to Tucson. That really, really is one of the primary talking points of this entire weekend. We'll talk about the wheel-to-wheel racing, but man, you guys had to go through some pretty rough temperatures and weather throughout the weekend.
Record-breaking temperatures.
Wow.
The Friday was the highest ever it's been, 103 degrees on that day. So the quickest that it's hit triple digits in the Tucson region. So 103 degrees both Friday and Saturday, and it got down to 102 on Sunday. But
nice and easy.
Thankfully, the wind came in a little bit more on Sunday, so it was actually a cooler breeze instead of a warm breeze. So that was nice. As we did get some cloud cover towards the end of the day, so It's funny, Rob. Until about 11 a.m. it felt great, and then once the sun started setting at, say, 6:30, that's when it really felt great being there. But that in between, from about 11 a.m. to about 5 is when the heat was really affecting everyone, and thankfully, I didn't see anybody who had any issues on the racetrack in terms of being overheated. So everybody did well on that. I think the corner workers as well too stayed as cool as possible and hydrated as possible. So thankfully, no any health issues throughout the weekend. So that's a major plus, and when you have that extreme heat warning, for sure.
Yeah, big shout out to all the corner workers that were out there, obviously at plus 100 degrees out there all weekend long, trying to get obviously some shade in some of the areas they have with shade, umbrellas, whatever it may be. But shout out to them. David, by the numbers, actually a pretty solid group of walk-ups. When you and I did the outlap last week, we weren't looking at over 110. They ended up with 111 drivers all told. 3 of the 7 classes plus 20, 32 in junior max, 23 in senior max, 23 in mini max. So 3 really solid groups there. Only 4 drivers in masters, but there was only 2 when we did the preview podcast. So double that up, coming in with 4, 12 in the micro category. And then the FC category, 11 drivers in senior and 6 in junior. Good to see that program kind of make its, let's say, first foray into national level racing.
Yeah, and there's talk that some drivers are going to try and dip in that for the Ohio event that'll be coming up in June. So there's definitely interest in the program. Obviously, a new platform, a new engine platform, kind of banking off the old stock moto days that we've seen here in the United States. And again, just a really good debut for them. Great, pretty close in terms of lap times throughout the field. So that was good to watch. And the Masters max only at 4. I was talking with Billy Cleveland, who was there, and it's just there. If there's no Rotax Grand Finals tickets up for grab, there's not going to be Masters drivers. Yep. And so I think that's kind of the problem we have with that category. But the ones that do have the tickets, junior max, senior max, and mini max, all above the 20 mark. So that fully shows. And again, micro max, a lot of those drivers new to Rotax racing. So good to see double digits there.
Hey, listen, good insight from Billy Cleveland as well. If you're a Micromax driver, you're not going to get a ticket, but you're still there for gaining experience on the racetrack, in the package, to get yourself ready to move to mini. And you're a Masters driver, you're out there to have fun. And ideally, if you're going to run the Rotax event like this, you want to try to go to the grand finals. And a guy like Billy's been there before. He knows the draw. Maybe that's something that the Karting Solutions Group will look at down the line. Otherwise, there you go. 111 entries all told, 32 entries, the biggest category in junior. We get back after this break. We'll dive in to the Paddock Pass. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter car drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame. with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels in the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the ceramic product line, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Welcome back to episode 165 of the EKN Debrief. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole as he breaks down the event this past weekend out of the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona, the RMC America's Trophy, a new two-event program from the Race Rotax guys to continue to develop the Rotax program here. We're going to dive into the Paddock Pass right now. Dave's got a handful of bits to bring out for you. Today's Paddock Pass presented by Kart CRG USA. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. Check out the CRG KT5 for tag and shifter racing, the Black Mirror for cadet competition, and the FS4 for Briggs. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrgusa.com. All right, David, a little plug there for our good friends at Kart CRG USA. What do you got for the Paddock Pass from Tucson?
Well, you already segued that. The coming in hot for the inaugural RMC America's Trophy event. Just kind of overviewing the event itself heading into the weekend. Obviously the extreme weather was one of the issues coming into Tucson, a new racetrack for a lot of people. That was kind of the focus of that segment of my report. Also, the new pavement, the new paddock the paddock at Musselman Honda Circuit was completely paved. So it provided the opportunity to avoid more dust than you typically get when you're there. But the one issue kind of we brought up and three teams had to suffer with this was the setting up for this coming weekend. The amount of paddock space that was really utilized, and that's a concern for some of the teams, especially those that are in the secondary paddock, which is located along the backstretch, made for a long walk for them back and forth from the grid and to the grid to their pit spots, and so it just seems like they could have at least allowed those teams to maybe come in, and Rotax didn't do that. I'm not quite sure why that was the case. There's a lot of questionable situations regarding the logistics of all this. So, still trying to figure all that out. So, but yeah, that's an issue that hopefully will get resolved or made aware of, so people know what's happening. But the paddock is nice, being paved, having been there many times now without that. So it's a good to have. It does, however, bring a little bit more heat into the paddock. That's for sure. Yeah. If those going back to the old MRP days in South Bend, whenever they recoated that paddock, it certainly made for a hot day and a sticky day. But again, thankfully, we had a little bit of a breeze there on Sunday to help cool things off. But so just again, it's again a new program happening with the Race Rotax and Karting Solutions Group. And again, a lot of the team managers that hadn't been to Rotax or hadn't been all in, they're really excited about this program and what the potential is moving forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people had their eyes on the grand finals last year, and you see a number of other drivers stepping up. Right, a Paulie Massimino, some of these drivers coming in saying, "Hey, you know what? I'd like to potentially go do this again." And, I'm sure Paulie coming back from his first grand finals experience, telling people how cool it was. So that's going to bring more people into the game. And again, with kind of a new crew heading the program, it's lots of good things happening right now for Rotax. But David, obviously the winter trophy already in the books. Some tickets were given away there. But for a lot of people, with this first weekend of the America's Trophy, rather, their path to Portugal kind of began in Tucson.
Exactly that. As we said, that's 4 tickets up for grabs when we talked about it in the outlap in the 3 categories: senior, junior, and mini. So really the path to Portugal does begin in Tucson, being a best 3 out of 4 championship format when you include the event that will be coming up in Ohio. So again, being good this weekend in Tucson in those 3 categories definitely provides you the opportunity for a chance at competing and earning a ticket to represent your country at the Rotax Grand Finals. We call that the Olympics of karting. It truly is that, because there's 50 to 60 countries all represented at this one karting event, and it's truly a phenomenal, probably one of the best karting events in the world. Yeah. I continue to say, having been there 3 times now, twice in Portugal, once here in the USA. But and again, watching from home every year, it's just there's nothing like it for sure.
Dave, we talked already about the fact that the FC Shifter program, obviously making its debut kind of on the national stage, right? We've had a couple articles on the website about it. You've already mentioned it's kind of the new spin, or the modern day stock moto program, that stock engine package that you buy through FC Shifter. But yeah, for them, the debut on the big stage, all the coverage and a number of drivers jumping on board.
Exactly that. It's been grassrooted thus far at the club programs and even at the regional level with the Pro Kart Challenge last year under the Superkarts USA banner, returning again in 2026. And then with, under the ownership of Karting Solutions Group, it segued into this and provided kind of the platform for this category to kind of get more attention and kind of open the eyes of those racers kind of at the national level about this program. And it certainly brought attention to a number of drivers, including Gage Korn, who's a now sophomore driver in the KZ platform, a driver like Ashton Woon, who actually went there to race just the FZ category, but added the Rotax Junior as well, just to get more seat time and more lap time there in Tucson. So, but again, majority of the fields in those 2 categories were dedicated to the FC program. Some of them moving up from the cadet division, some now into their second year in either the junior or senior package at the club or regional level. So, again, just, we keep talking about it. It's more of the grassroots, and I kept comparing it to the Briggs 206. It's very much like that for shifter kart racing, a more affordable package and a more reliable package that you can bang out tons of laps with, have no worries, put a new piston and ring in that you can get at the local mom and pop motocross track, motocross shop nearby, and keep going. So Again, they had the full FZ shifter trailer there to support all the drivers. The unique part about it, and I don't think I wrote about this in the article, or I might have, is they're all on a spec gear. So the juniors are on a spec gear, the seniors are on a spec gear. The one downside thus far is kind of the mounting of the engine. It's wider than the KZ platform, so you might have to cut a seat up a little bit, or shifting it over just because of the way it sits on a chassis. So that's one of maybe the only negative parts about it. Not really a negative, but just something that's a little bit more out of the normal, I would say. And Rob, you go back to the old moto days. Yeah, we were having tilted seats and cutting up seats to fit those back in the day too, weren't we?
All the time. Yeah, I'd move my seat over a little bit. Had to do that all the time. Listen, obviously, just the way the engine's built, right? The KZ's built for karting, where the exhaust comes out the back of the engine. The exhaust comes out the front of these engines. It means the pipe's going to be in a different area. So, yeah, listen, that's how you go back to the early days of Superkarts USA. We've talked about this before. It wasn't the engines, the Formula C engines from Europe that were over in the US when it became big. It was at one point Suzuki, Yamaha, Husky, Honda, Kawasaki were all kind of on board with people bolting motocross engines on their karting chassis. So really, that's where it kind of comes from, that motocross background. So this is more of a throwback, and like you said, David, more affordable, more reliable. You get a lot more time on the engine. It's not like a full blown race KZ motor. This is something that's more designed, as you said, for track days, for club racing, and to get the chance for some of these drivers to run on the national level. I think it's a cool deal to see them out there. I'm looking forward to seeing it grow. Affordable shifter kart racing is a good thing.
Yeah, and we're going to be able to compare their lap times to that with the KZ coming up this weekend to give a kind of back-to-back scenario. Obviously, a little bit different tire because the FCs did run on the blue Iveco tires, where the Pro Shifter on the KZ platform will be running on the red Iveco tires. But similar to Rotax, same thing. We're going to be able to kind of compare those lap times to the Swift and X30 and KA categories as well, too, all on similar tires as well. So it's going to be a good little back-to-back measuring stick for the Rotax and IME platforms and KZ.
All right, David, let's cap off this segment of Paddock Pass. I know you got one more bit you want to bring up.
Yeah, we just kind of looked at Nitro Kart, Cody Johnson, the team manager and karting director for the brand. They were there, and Rotax is nothing new to Nitro Kart. Some familiar names, including Brent Cruz, Ben Mayer, Cameron Weinberg, Adam Brickley, and I believe there was one more. I can't think off the top of my head the other name, but all former Rotax winners, including Brett Cruz, who actually won at the Rotax Grand Finals, coming up through the Nitro Kart brand. So it's not Rotax, nothing new to Nitro Kart. They back into it this week with I believe they have 5 drivers under the tent, both in mini and micro. So it's like I said, some of the team managers and teams are getting more interested in the Rotax program now that they have that collaboration right now with Race Rotax, Karting Solutions Group, and Superkarts USA.
No doubt, a lot going on right now in terms of that the Rotax program. Off to another break. When we get back, time for David to dive into the race report. We'll get into that after these quick messages. Wins at the sport's biggest races, as well as championships across all levels of karting, pack the resume for Nitro Kart. The Nitro Kart brand has made its statement as the best, fastest, and most reliable cadet chassis on the North American karting market. If you want to win in cadet, both in 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition, get a Nitro Kart and join the team. Team Nitro Kart will be at all major events, trackside with Ryan Perry Motorsport, the official race team. Owner Ryan Perry and his RPM operation carries the full selection of Nitro Kart chassis and parts, while also providing the same driver development focus as Nitro Kart owner Nick Tucker. You can also join the Team Nitro Kart race team at all major 4-cycle races this season. Led by longtime Nitro Kart tuner Cody Johnson, Team Nitro Kart will be at all the major Cup Karts North America events with arrive and drive opportunities available for all ages. Nitro Motorsports is a true karts-to-karts driver development program that is already gaining success after launching in 2022. Victories and championships in the Trans Am Series has highlighted the team's start, along with the success in the new GR Cup by Toyota. Current and former karters can take advantage of this unique ladder system with Nitro Kart and Nitro Motorsports. Visit Nitro Kart online and find them on social media. Nitro Kart, race one or chase one. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Klotz Lubricants has a long history in the sport of karting, with over 60 years of developing products for the motorsports industry. A new product introduced by Klotz combines its technology with the knowledge and experience of one of the sport's legends, Lynn Haddock. The new Haddock Special Formula 2-stroke engine oil is blended at the Klotz facility in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The blend uses a formula that Lynn developed and refined throughout years of racetrack testing. The 2-stroke engine oil is designed specifically for karting engines, using a proprietary blend of synthetic and castor-based oils. The synthetic-based oils provide wear protection at low temperatures, and the castor-based oils provide wear protection at high temperatures and high RPMs. The fluid is anodized to mitigate corrosion and deposit formation and can be mixed with either gasoline or methanol. The new Haddock Special Formula from Klotz is available now through the KlotzLube.com website and will be coming to many kart shops across the country in the near future. Klotz and the Haddock Special Formula, bringing together decades of experience to the karting industry. Welcome back to the EKN Debrief, capping off our trackside coverage this past weekend's RMC America's Trophy in Tucson, Arizona at the Musselman Honda Circuit. Rob Howden here with David Cole, who was trackside throughout the high heat of the weekend out in Arizona. Time to dive now into the race report presented by Odenthal Racing Products. If you're gunning for the podium, your motor mount is critical in your goal to get 100% of your engine's power to the track. Odenthal Racing Products provide the best motor mounts in the karting market today. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience, providing products with unmatched quality and value for the karting market. Check out their Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines and their 4-cycle Easy Set for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, made in the USA. All right, David, we're going to rock with Senior Max and Junior Max before we dive into the next break. Here's the headline, folks, for the Senior Max category. Ingrata dominates with perfect weekend.
Done. Nothing more to say.
Move on to Junior.
It certainly was that. It was pretty dominant. I want to say there was maybe one time that he wasn't leading throughout the weekend. So it was that 49.966 led the way in qualifying for round one, as he went on to got a little bit challenged in the pre-final, but ended up pulling away there early after some racing for second, which included Alexia Balageron. The Canadian driver, the rookie, was in the mix there for the second spot, was a DQ for a technical infraction. So that moved up the British driver, Sean Butcher, I believe. I'm sorry, up into the second spot, and William Boutillier Boutillier. Don't say the H. Gotcha. Into the third spot. But the main event ended up being the top two drivers of Aiden Ingrata and Paulie Massimino. He got a little off track there at the end of the pre-final, which dropped him out of the top three. Worked his way up into the second spot and kept a consistent pace behind Ingrata, but really wasn't able to gain an advantage, or Ingrata never making a mistake, and Massimino not able to kind of outpace Ingrata's speed that he was putting up front. So it was those two drivers up front running 1-2, with Ingrata taking the victory by 0.3 of a second.
Now, David, I know initially Oliver Hodgson was on the podium in third. What happened there?
Yeah, finished third on track, but was a technical disqualification for fairing height. Exceeded the height limit there.
I hate to hear that. So that moves Boutillier up into the third position. What about fourth and fifth? Big run from a driver deeper in the pack.
Yeah, Macy Williams was up front in the pre-final, but got shuffled off and into the turn one wall. So that dropped her down the order and out of the race. And so she started the main event from 19th and charged her way all the way up into the top five, and ended up finishing fourth with the Hodgson DQ.
So Alexis Bergeron, you talked about the fact that he had the issue in the pre-final, started at the tail of the field. Did he come forward as well?
Yeah, he was another hard charger as well. So came all the way from dead last up into the sixth spot. So a great kind of recovery for him, as he was the top rookie in the field. Yeah,
it looks like very similar results, David, in Sunday action. And Ingrata on pole again, not quite as quick as he was on Saturday with a 50.066. But as you said, perfect weekend, wins the pre-final, wins the main by 4.4 seconds. Give us a little insight into what happened in the pre-final and final.
Yeah, again, Ingrata got challenged by both Massimino and Bergeron early in the pre-final, but Ingrata was able to fight them off and score the win ahead of Massimino, with Macy Williams up into third by the end of the pre-final there. Main event time, Ingrata got away quickly this time. Wasn't challenged early as they were fighting for second behind him. Actually, Massimino fell back a little bit. I want to say maybe back to fourth, and then finally worked his way back up into the second spot. But by then, Ingrata had a sizable lead and continued to stretch it out, eventually finishing ahead for the victory by 4 seconds.
Wow. You're thinking about the championship battle and the fight for the ticket there. Massimino probably lucky to get away, not so much lucky, but strong to have a couple of second place finishes, especially with Ingrata being as dominant as you said. This time, Oliver Hodgson rather getting to hold on to third. Poor guy.
yeah. Got challenged, however, all race towards their second half of the race by senior rookie Isaac Malkit. The driver actually suffered a destroyed chassis in Saturday's pre-final. When he made contact with Williams after she hit the wall, and then as he made his way through the S's there in turns 2 and 3. The steering hub bolt broke, and he had no steering, went straight off into the wall. Luckily, was able to walk away with no issues, but destroyed the chassis. So they had to come back with a new chassis at the end of Saturday, and they were able to finally tune that into a pretty fast machine on Sunday, and just couldn't find a way by Hodgson, as the veteran held off Malkit by just a few inches at the line.
There you go. And again, Alexis Bergeron, 6th in race number 1 on Saturday, came back for P5 in race number 2. So all told, a solid run for Aiden Ingrata, as David said, dominated with a perfect weekend. Not quite the same in Junior Max, as here's the headline: Woon and Pettit split weekend.
Yeah, again, kind of two of the favorites going into the race ended up coming away with victories, but it was Tristan Murphy that came away with the fast time in qualifying, a 50.601. So just about 0.8 of a second slower than what the seniors put down, or 0.7 of a second slower than what the seniors put down on Saturday. But Murphy got shuffled back into the third spot as Ashton Woon and Colton Schniegenberg, a driver who's been racing in Europe for much of the season, came back to race in this event, and skipping the WSK Supermaster event that was in Italy to be part of this race. So ended up finishing second behind Woon. And those were the two drivers to get away. Schniegenberg led for a little bit, and then Woon went back to the top and essentially held off the I believe this is his junior rookie season. I'm trying to think back to that. But yeah, it was those two drivers up front. Eventually, Travis Pettit, who was involved in a turn one incident in the pre-final, started 15th in the main event, worked his way up into third, and with a little bit of a defensive driving that Woon was doing in the last couple of laps, allowed Pettit to close in late. Okay. So it was actually three drivers going into the penultimate corner there at the end of the straightaway. Woon went on the defensive. Schneegenberg was kind of setting up for the over-under. Well, Pettit went in between them. So he kind of ruined Schneegenberg's plans and almost got in the back of Woon, because I think Pettit was going to try and maybe see what he could do on the inside. Yep. And then just went in really, really deep and decided to go in between them rather than hitting Woon or somebody else, and ended up kind of getting wide on the exit. That allowed Schneegenberg to kind of do the over-under on Pettit, and then just didn't quite have enough momentum to get Woon at the line. It was only 70 hundredths of a second at the line, with Woon taking the victory.
Wow, close at the line for sure. Then we all know how that run down the back straightaway happens at Musselman. Tristan Murphy coming home in the 4th spot. Darren Kidd rounding out the top 5. And again, remember, big field in the junior max category. Moving on to the Sunday round number 2, Woon kept things rolling out of the gate with a 50.221 to qualify on pole. But David, he would not come away with a pre-final victory.
Nope. It was Pettit that came through in the pre-final. Again, had a little bit of issue in qualifying, but was able to work his way up to the front, getting ahead of Woon and Leo da Silva, the ticket holder from the Rotax Winter Trophy program that was at Speed Sports, the Canadian, already part of Team Canada. He picked up the pace a little bit on Sunday as well. But in the main event, however, it was Pettit that led the entire distance, going wire to wire. It looked like Woon was going to be able to close in, but Pettit kind of picked up the pace a little bit later in the race, eventually pulling out to a 2.3 margin of victory.
Yeah, so Woon coming home second, Leo da Silva in third, Brandon Ing in 4th spot, and Nico Orbezo rounding out the top 5. So good racing, as David had mentioned, here in both senior and junior max. We'll go to a quick break when we come back with the race report brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products. We'll dive into Mini Max, Micro Max, and Masters Max before capping the day off with FC. A family focus with the desire to reach the top of the podium every weekend. That's what drives Prodigy Motorsports. Launched in 2020 by Chris and Alex Murray, Prodigy Motorsports provides its clients and customers with a fun, family-friendly, competitive experience. The Charlotte, North Carolina-based karting team and shop is an official dealer and team for the Best Kart brand. Best Kart enters 2026 with a 4-decade-long reputation for its craftsmanship and attention to detail in chassis design and construction. The brand showed well on the big stage at the end of 2025 and is ready for a full attack on the 2026 season. Prodigy Motorsports is set for competition at the United States Pro Kart Series and Stars Championship Series programs, in addition to continued support for its customers at the Trackhouse Motorplex Karting Challenge. Arrive and drive opportunities are available in all categories. Visit prodigy-motorsports.com to learn more about becoming part of the Prodigy Motorsports family in 2026. Made in the USA. That's exactly what you get from Precision Karting Technologies. Based in Detroit, Michigan, PKT brings over 35 years of manufacturing experience to the sport of karting. Their passion for the sport began focusing around the Kid Kart platform and has expanded every year with hundreds of products designed to put you on the podium. Precision Karting Technologies is known around North America for their successful line of axles, available in all age groups. PKT manufactures a number of engine products for Comer, IAME, Rock, Rotax, and the popular Briggs & Stratton 206. A wide variety of chassis components for the many brands in the sport are available through PKT, including hubs, pedal risers, skid plates, and other hardware for your kart. Axle straightening, chassis adjustments, engine service, and specific CNC machining projects are available through their Motor City headquarters. To learn more about the many products and services available from Precision Karting Technologies, head to pktaxles.com.
The karting championship that's taken Europe by storm and helped launch today's top open-wheel stars is now in the United States. Introducing Champions of the Future America. Champions of the Future America is a 9-round series that welcomes drivers across multiple classes, including Mini, KA100, and X30. Champions of the Future America tours 2 of the Southwest's premier karting facilities, K1 Circuit in Southern California and Spring Mountain Karting Complex in Nevada. Drivers will compete across 8 unique track layouts in pursuit of a prize pool valued at over $130,000. The ultimate reward? Our X30 Pro champion will win an all-expenses-paid trip to France for a 3-day Formula 4 training camp at the legendary Winfield Racing School at Circuit Paul Ricard. Learn more about Champions of the Future America. Register now at championskartingamerica.com. That's championskartingamerica.com.
Back out of here in the EKN Debrief as we continue with the race report brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products, diving into all the action from the RMC America's Trophy opener at Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. David Cole, let's get back into it here. Minimax, here's your headline. MPG sweep with Hudson and Adi.
Minimax was a great category to watch. Again, there was a number of different drivers in the mix, but it ended up being the Kart Republic drivers taking the victories. But Aiden Go was one of the quickest drivers all weekend long. He just did not have the racing luck. Qualifying was a 53.419 to put him on top of the time charts. But unfortunately, the fuel line came off in the opening lap of the pre-final, so he had to pull off with no power to the engine at all. So put him at the back of the main event grid. That allowed Hudson Howard and Yusuf Adi to be able to go 1-2 ahead of Mason Brody. It ended up being a 7-driver lead pack in the main event. Eventually, it was Howard and Westbrook that were able to kind of get away from that late in the race. Westbrook was leading, but Howard took over the point and was able to hold on through that final lap, taking the victory by just over 1/10 of a second ahead of Westbrook.
Good stuff for both those drivers to get away strong. Mason Brody, who was 3rd in the pre-final, held that spot for the main event as well. Forrest Blair 4th, Samuel Cheveri rounding out the top 5. And just like we talked about in the junior category when Pettit won on Saturday and got the pole on Sunday, Hudson Howard doing the same thing. Victory in race 1, 53.381 in qualifying, qualified on the pole. But Yusuf Adi stepping things up again, David, as he would go to win the pre-final and lock down the pole for the main.
Yeah, it was actually, let me look back at this now. Why do I have an asterisk there that's in the, sorry. Yes.
That's for the final.
Let me regroup. Start over again, Rob. What were you saying?
Hudson Howard qualifying on the pole position with qualifying, and then he started pole for the pre-final, but Yusuf Adi took the win in the pre-final.
Correct. Yes, they were able to swap positions, I believe, in the pre-final with Addy taking the win. And once again, Mason Brody right there. So again, very familiar names, but again, there was a whole bunch of drivers that were right there as well. And in the main event, Addy led the majority of the race, got away for a little bit. Eventually, Howard was able to run him down and took over the lead with 2 laps to go. And that was the winning move, or provisional winning move for Howard, as he did cross the line as the provisional winner. Unfortunately for him, a penalty for contact that dropped him down off the top of the podium, moving him over to the 3rd position, and that promoted Yusuf Adi to the win. And then Aiden Go, who had a phenomenal drive once again, because another mechanical issue in the pre-final put him at the back of the field. He went from 22nd to ended up finishing 2nd, and was just a couple of tenths back away from the leaders as they took the checkered flag. So again, Aiden Go, probably the quickest driver on track all weekend long, only able to pull off 1 podium finish, but it was a good one, finishing 2nd on Sunday.
Pretty nice. Well done. Addy, Go, and Howard, the top 3. Another top 5 for both Samuel Cheveri and Mason Brody. This time Cheveri in 4th, 5th on Saturday. Brody was 3rd on Saturday, 5th on Sunday. Let's go to the Micromax category. Again, a good field there as well. Here's your headline. Toasty and Sanders earn career firsts.
Yeah, again, good little Micromax field. A majority of them pretty much right there in the mix all day long and all weekend long. Jet Fisher on the CRG racing under the REM tent on the weekend. He was able to put on the quickest time in qualifying, a 55.729 to lead the way in the time session. He would, however, get shuffled back in the pre-final as Alessio Tosti was able to score the race win ahead of Bo Wyatt, with Trey Sanders there in the third spot.
Is it, Dave, is it Toasty or Tosti? Did you talk to
Tosti? Yes, Toasty. I say Toasty because that's how I spell it. It probably is Tosti.
Tosti, yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Again, I say it how I spell it, Rob.
I know that's how you do it, Dave. You always have. Everybody knows. We're on board with you.
Yeah. So yes, it was Tosti, right? Yes,
yeah,
Tosti,
I would think so. Yeah.
Wyatt, Sanders finishing 1, 2, 3. Wyatt had an issue, however, in the to get shuffled back in the main event. It ended up being Sanders and Tosti that were out front and got away from the field late in the main event as they were running 1-2. It was a great little last lap battle. Tosti was leading the way. Sanders went for a pass in turn 4, thought he had it, but just, Rob, there's something about this time of year, and I don't think we've really have seen this before. He got down for the pass and just pushed wide, completely wide off the racetrack.
On the exit? On the exit?
Kind of, hit the apex and just, it wouldn't turn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There was just a lot of dust offline anywhere you went around the racetrack. And so even trying to make a pass was a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
And even if you listen to the interviews we had with Aiden and Grata leading the race, you didn't quite know what the track was because there was so much dust getting pushed on the racetrack by guys going off here and there. So you weren't really sure exactly what the corner was going to do each time you went through. So yeah, Sanders just made a slight little mistake, went off far enough to where he couldn't get back on the racetrack. So Toasty, right? Yeah, Tosti was able to.
You're making me hungry.
Alessia, yeah, we could Waffle House toast. I tell you, there's nothing better. Was able to pull off his first Rotax victory, winning by 2.1 seconds after Sanders went off the racetrack.
Yeah, good for him. Tristan Francisco coming home in the second spot. Dusty Strayer in third. I already talked about Jet Fisher qualified on the pole during that timed run. He ends up finishing P4 overall. And then Bo Wyatt rounding out the top 5. Sanders, though, even though they had the issue in race 1, he came back, had the momentum, 55.612 in qualifying. And David, all told, he ends up winning the pre-final and the final as well.
Yeah, again, it wasn't easy because he didn't lead every lap. It was a battle in the pre-final. Sanders won over Toasty.
No,
See, now you're confusing me.
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to call him Alessio. Alessio.
I'm sorry.
Done. Can't get that wrong. Yeah. Sanders. Yeah. So Sanders, Alessio, and Francisco were 1, 2, 3 in the pre-final. The top 3 were able to get away in the second half of the race. Eventually, Sanders was and Alessio were in the lead before Dusty Strayer came through and took the lead with 2 laps remaining. And then in the last lap little battle, Sanders went from third to first on the final lap. A great little battle, and was able to hold on through the final couple of corners as he took the victory by just over 0.2 of a second.
Wow, a couple of different winners there in the Micromax category. Dave, let's dive into Masters. Not going to take a lot of time, I don't think. The headline is this: Cleveland, perfect in Tucson.
Yeah, just had an unbelievable amount of pace all weekend long. 52.073 was quickest time in qualifying. Went on to lead every lap of the pre-final and final on Saturday. Chapman Ducto was Ducote. Yep. See, I didn't really listen to the announcing this weekend, so it's hard to. Yeah. So Chapman, say his name again.
Ducote.
There
Probably.
You go.
Could be Ducote.
I thought it was Ducote.
It could be Ducote.
Yeah.
And then Jose De La Garza.
Smith. I'm just going to call him Smith. hate names. Sorry.
Billy Cleveland gets the win. Chapman Ducote in second. Jose De La Garza in third. And Ken Simonellic in fourth.
Yeah, and Cleveland picked up the pace on Sunday. It was just over 0.3 of a lap quicker in qualifying. So the track did get a little bit better with the newer Ivinco tires on Sunday, and maybe a little bit cooler weather. Not quite sure, but because it was still hot. Yeah. And again, went wire to wire in both the pre-final and final. The main event result was a little bit messed up as there was contact on lap 10 between Ducati. See, I think that's how you say it, Ducati.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. And De La Garza. The two made contact in the double right-hand corners, eventually retiring from the race after that. So that allowed you can say his name.
Simonellic?
Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to start using first names. That's
Cleveland, Simonellic, Ducote, and De La Garza end up being the top four.
I hate names, Rob.
I know. Take a break. When we get back, folks, we're done with Rotax. We're going to go FC as the race report continues. A new way to compete in fast, reliable, and affordable racing is taking over the globe. The Tillotson Racing T4 concept is building momentum around the world, and it's expanding in the United States under the T4 Series USA operation. The T4 Series kart package is a spec class program featuring the spec Tillotson chassis, Tillotson engine, and spec Maxxis T4 tires that move the emphasis away from budget and onto driver. The T4 Series USA is working with kart tracks across the country, including the home-based T4 Kartplex, Orlando Kart Center, Music City Kartplex, and Lorain, Ohio Kartplex. The Texas Sprint Racing Series has signed on to offer the T4 Senior category this season, along with the T4 SoCal program that's already established. The T4 Series Eastern Cup is a 3-race program traveling to Tennessee, Ohio, and Florida this year, while the Florida Karting League Championship is set to host T4 categories in 2026. The new T4 America's Cup is a cooperation with T4 Series Mexico, and the program will feature a 2-race championship format for Tillotson Racing. Throughout the season, Tillotson racers will be competing for a ticket to compete at the coveted T4 Nations Cup, which is set for September 30th to October 4th at the Cartodromo Internacional Lucas Guerrero in Valencia, Spain. To learn more, head to T4SeriesUSA.com. Established in 1999, PSL Karting is a powerhouse within the North American karting industry and around the world. PSL Karting is your complete source for all Bureau Art products as the North American importer, providing this top quality product through both their expansive dealer network and through the PSLKarting.com online store. Whatever you need is available 24/7 online, including safety gear, parts, components, and full karting packages. PSL Karting is the importer for the Bureau Art, Charles Leclerc, Kubica, and Barrichello brands of karts, all in stock and ready to hit the track. Grab your winning chassis for any category by visiting PSLKarting.com to find your nearest dealer. PSL Karting is always looking for interest in new dealers and teams to help create new business relationships. Drivers looking to take their talent to the next level can join the Bureau Art North America race team, competing at all major USA and Canada events this season. When you're ready to win, go with PSL Karting. Let decades of experience and success lead you to the top of the podium. Join Brandon Jarsacrack Racing as your race team at the sport's major events in the United States. Brandon Jarsacrack is a 4-time United States Pro Kart Series champion, along with a multi-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour and WKA Manufacturers Cup Series race winner. Jarsacrack is ranked among one of the best from his generation to get behind the wheel of a racing kart. BJR provides full race team service and support at all USPKS, SCUSA, and Stars Championship Series events, along with trackside programs at the Trackhouse Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. Partnering with Mike Doty Racing, Brandon's team of driver coaches and mechanics are passionate for the sport, providing decades of experience both on the track and working with many of today's karting standouts and current motorsport stars. Brandon Jarsacrack Racing offers a full range of services, including kart preparation, driver coaching, and race event support for both two-cycle and four-cycle competitors. BJR is an official LN Racing kart team with OTK USA and is an official offset sport race team. Contact them today to develop a program based around your needs. Head to BrandonJarsacrack.com to learn more. Welcome back to episode 165 of the EKN Debrief. David Cole wrapping up his essentially a podcast report from the RMC America's Trophy in Tucson, Arizona. Folks, he spells everything correctly. Pronunciation, often a challenge. The race report.
Why I don't announce, Rob. Everybody keeps asking me, and that's why.
Race report brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products. Let's go with FC 125.
I can say Odenthal Racing Products.
You can. Good for you. You've only been around the sport for 40 years. Of course you can. Headline, Corn Sweeps Weekend. Pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. Not quite easy for him. He did have a little bit of pressure here and there. A 49.461 was the qualifying time. That'll be the time we kind of look at on Saturday and for the pro shifter category to kind of see where it compares to the KZ platform. Was able to go on to win both heat races on Saturday. It was Zimming Wang as the runner-up in Heat 1 with Daniel Fellows in the third spot. And it was the driver from the UAE, Theo Kadkati, with factory carts that was second, with Wang finishing third in the second heat race. Set the grid for the pre-final on Sunday by the heat race points. Korn not able to kind of get off the line good, so he actually got shuffled back to second behind Kadkati, and eventually took back the lead and was able to go on to take the win. And then in the main event, it was a flawless start for him as Kadkati had an issue off the line. So he got a little bit shuffled back as they were fighting for P2. This allowed Korn to pull away early and continue to establish a pretty solid lead, ending up after the 20-lap main event winning by just over 6 seconds.
Yeah, wow, 6.719 seconds. Good victory there for Korn. David, you mentioned that Kadkati and Zimming Wang had a pretty good battle throughout the weekend. They finished second and third, respectively. Daniel Fellows in fourth spot and Sebastian Cortez capping off the top five. And
4 different chassis brands in the top 5 there.
Yeah.
Maranello factory carts, Falcone, and a Pantano in the top 5. 2 factory carts there with Kadkati and Cortez. But yeah, that was kind of the interesting part, and we'll get more into the 85. But they were all factory carts with the exception of one Charles Leclerc chassis in that, to where the FC 125, a good mix of different chassis brands. There's CRGs in there as well, and I'm trying to think of, there was one other brand I thought that was in there as well too.
Good stuff. As Dave mentioned, we'll cap things off here in the race report with FZ85. Here's the headline. Woon claims debut victory.
It was a debut victory, but not a sweep on the weekend. Brandon Ing was able to set a fast time of 50.988. And actually, Woon set the same lap time as well, too. Wow. But Ing was able to win the tiebreaker. I believe they go to the second fastest lap. And so he was awarded the pole position for the heat races. And so if that doesn't tell you how equal the engines are when you get the same qualifying lap time, right, that's a no-brainer right there. So, but Woon ended up did get the whole shots, both heat races, as he took the win, both wins over Ing, with RJ Brown finishing third in the opening heat race and Wyatt Kroger finishing third in the second heat race. Pre-final, it was Woon taking the win with Ing in the second spot, but he was awarded a 2-position penalty for a jump start, so that demoted him back down to fourth, moving up Kroger up into the second spot and Brown in third. Brown unfortunately couldn't get off the line, so he had to trail the field by a number of seconds after he couldn't get really restarted. I actually had to push him because I was back there doing a video. But once he got going, just continued on and eventually ending up fifth. But up front, it was Woon with a sizable lead as he pulled away to a 5-second advantage to be able to earn the inaugural victory for the FZ85 platform.
Nice. 5.020 the time. Woon, Ing, Kroger, Dragon, and Brown, top 5 in that category. Off to our final break. When we come back, we'll have a look at the Constructors Championship. David will wrap things up. And last but not least, as always, we'll go through the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2024 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program and the Tatis JR23. As the first step of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 13-race schedule to train racers for the move into the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tires. 3 of the events in 2024 will run alongside IndyCar at Mid-Ohio, Road America, and Portland. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $263,000, and there's a total prize fund that will exceed $330,000. The series utilizes the state-of-the-art Tatis JR23 race car, which is a development version of the USF 22 used in USF 2000. It's the ideal entry point for career-minded karters moving into the car racing ladder. Safety is always front and center in the minds of the series promoters, and the new USF Juniors car also features the Halo, and races are supported by members of the AMR IndyCar safety team. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit www.usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. In 2025, Trinity Karting Group established TKG Viral Art USA in cooperation with North American distributor PSL Karting. The Trinity Karting Group carries the colors of the Viral Art brand, as TKG Viral Art USA helps to bridge the connection between current and future dealers here in the USA. TKG has in stock IAMI, Briggs & Stratton, MG, Evinco tires, and more products for those in the Ohio and Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport with a winning pedigree, and we are dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Check out any major national karting event, and what's the common thread? Speed Concepts Racing. Up front, in every class, every weekend. The Speed family has been at the forefront of American karting for over 25 years, and Speed Concepts Racing is the sole dedication of Father Mike Speed and his multi-time championship-winning son Alex Speed. This program is all about passion for the sport and a dedication to winning. They know how to get it done. If you're a senior driver ready to put yourself amongst the best in the country, Speed Concepts Racing is the program for you. We can win the big races. You just need to be in the seat. The Speeds program has delivered time over time in the junior classes as well, helping to elevate a long list of young drivers from mid-pack to potential race winners. Speed Concepts Racing has the perfect equation of coaching, driver development, and technical knowledge to elevate your program. Arrive and drive opportunities are available for the remainder of the 2023 season, and we're locking in seats for 2024 as well. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, Contact Speed Concepts Racing through email at speedconceptsracing@gmail.com. All right, folks, let's wrap things up in this edition of the EKN Debrief, putting a cap on David's coverage of the RMC America's Trophy from Tucson, Arizona, Musselman Honda Circuit, where we will be returning to this coming weekend for the Supercarts USA Pro Tour opener, the Winter Nationals. Again, this show today brought to you by Parolin USA. Let's dive now into the championship, the Constructors Championship. Let's scroll them down here to get back to it again. David, 7 different brands for the 12 wins on the weekend. Kart Republic and Cosmic out to the lead on the weekend.
Yeah, picking up 3 wins there, both in all 3 in the that categories. Cosmic picking up 3 there as well, 2 in the Senior Max, 1 in the Junior Max. Ellen Kart with Billy Cleveland picking up 2 wins. You had the CS55, Nitro Kart, Factory Karts, and Maranello all picking up 1 victories each.
All right, let's wrap things up, David. What do you got here for the wrap-up? I know you got a couple of numbers here for us.
Again, new era for Rotax Racing here in the USA is underway with this new America's Trophy program. Again, a lot of good feedback from the teams and competitors about the Rotax platform and how this should be something that could grow into something good down the road.
What about the weekend itself in terms of safety?
Yeah, no red flags. We did have one that did come out as the grid was released a bit early, as the recovery vehicle was still on racetrack. Thankfully, they caught that. The red flag came out within a corner after the grid had been released. So they just rolled around, waited till the recovery vehicle was off, and then resumed the qualifying session that session was under. So other than that, no major issues. Rex, we did have obviously the Malkit one, a couple other guys getting contacts with the tire walls that they did put out. Rob, we've been there many times. I don't think we need those tire walls at all with the Tucson racetrack. It's certainly a unique racetrack that has a lot of extra pavement that's not needed, but
Agreed.
it's better to just use that as the outline of the actual racetrack itself, rather than putting these fake walls up that do a lot of damage to karts, and it doesn't allow for the karts to go through. They bounce right back into the racing line, and it's not good.
One of the things I was thinking about on the weekend when kind of texting with you and watching your reports was think about how hot it was in Tucson. I think back the weather you guys had to deal with at the Winter Trophy as well. Like both ends of the spectrum, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a tough debut for race Rotaxes. They've gone from one extreme to the other in terms of weather. Like you talked about having that round 2 postponed due to the cold front and the winter weather that came through Houston, and then to now have the extreme heat warning in Tucson, Arizona.
Wow.
We'll probably have the most extreme humidity warning in Ohio when we get there for that race. So just be prepared. Or it could be rain. It could be thunderstorms. We never know all the different types of weathers that could happen in Ohio.
Yeah, and that's indeed what Dave said. Battle continues, David, in Batavia, Ohio. Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, the capper, the back end of the America's Trophy double weekends.
Yeah, that's June 5th through the 7th, I believe, off the top of my head. I forgot to write that down. That'll be rounds 3 and 4 for the Rotax programs, and the second round for the FC shifter platforms. And again, we'll have 4 tickets to the Rotax Grand Finals awarded that weekend. Unfortunately, we won't be trackside, but we'll be covering it post-weekend on ekartingnews.com.
Exactly that. All right, let's cap things off here with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar presented today by Stilo USA. As a world leader in personal racing safety products, Simpson Performance Products is now the official North American distributor for Stilo helmets. In addition to their popular auto racing helmets, Stilo is excited to have made their move into karting. Stilo has 3 helmets designed and manufactured specifically for karting. The ST6 KRT helmets, including the new ST6 CMR Lite and the new ST6 CMR Zero. Complete your safety gear with the Stilo Carbon Curva rib and chest protector. For more information, check them out at stilohelmets.com or by following them on social media at Stilo USA. Now, David, I've already mentioned it a couple of times because you flew to Tucson, flew home, a couple of days, back at it. as you and I both head back to Tucson for the opening round of the Supercarts USA Pro Tour, the Winter Nationals at Musselman Honda Circuit, March 27th to 29th. Another season of SCUSA Pro Tour racing gets underway.
That it does. Excited to be part of the Supercarts USA's return to Tucson, Arizona. Going back, so I arrived home yesterday. We'll be back going on Tuesday. Excited to get the opening 2 rounds of the Supercarts USA Pro Tour. Weather should be a little bit better, maybe into the mid 90s, but I think Sunday will be down into the low 80s as a high. So definitely better weather. And we're going to see probably close to record numbers, not quite what we saw last year, but a number of categories sold out and a lot of top competitors in all the categories.
17th year for the Pro Tour, right?
Yes, 17th. I was trying to do the math as speaking and I couldn't do that. So yes, it is the 17th.
Started back in 2010. What track, Dave?
Sonoma Raceway.
That's it. Spring Nationals. It was good. 102 entries, I believe, that weekend. So there you have it. We're back at it again. A couple weeks later, although we will not be able to be trackside for this one, but expecting big numbers as well. The United States Pro Kart Series, David, starting off their 2026 season, April 10th to the 12th, the Carolina Grand Prix at Trackhouse Motorplex. We know how people love to go to Trackhouse, and I'm already seeing, obviously, through social media from USPKS, they are they're amping up big time. They're, I think they already hit the cap of 44 on the Pro X30. Was it the X30 or the KA100? They're going to open to the 88. It's going to be a big weekend at Trackhouse for USPKS.
Yeah, KA has been opened up to 88, and they'll have probably. I'm going to assume the junior category will do that too, but we could see mini as well. But yes, excited to see what happens there. Unfortunately, I will be on vacation, taking one this year, and ends up being that same weekend. I will be in California, so coast to coast coverage is going to be a little difficult for me to do.
Not going to happen, but
exactly not going to happen.
You will be trackside for the remainder of the series this year.
Yeah, I will be trackside for the rest of the season, including Newcastle, Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, and the new Lorain, Ohio Kartplex, just outside Cleveland, Ohio. So yes, we'll be trackside for, let's see, they started in 2013, Rob. If I do the math on the top of my head, it'll be the, I believe, 14th season for the USPKS.
There you go. And again, listen, we 17th, 14th, we talk about the stability for some of these major national programs. So great to see them back at it. Again, we'll be there next weekend for the Supercarts USA Pro Tour Winter Nationals, the opening round of this year's Pro Tour. But this podcast caps things off from our coverage from the opening round of the RMC America's Trophy. Again, Musselman Honda Circuit, Tucson, Arizona, playing host to the Rotax and FC categories. Everybody doing a great job out there. The season is underway. A couple of drivers with a point lead coming in with potential to try to grab those tickets to go to the grand finals in Portugal here at the end of the season. But again, still lots of work to be done when they get to the Motorsports Country Club in June. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. Big shout out to Parolin USA for being our podcast presenting sponsor for this edition of the show. But otherwise, that caps things off. Big weekend for David Cole. Great work in tough temperatures. Thank you so much for that, David. On behalf of David, my name is Rob Howden, folks. Bye for now.